So this is Coffee with Kitsap Physical Therapy. I'm Jackie Gefeller. This is Kara Statzog. We're both doctors of physical therapy. I want to take this moment to thank the caffeinated leaves and beans that give us all the energy and inspiration for this. So today I'm drinking actually not caffeinated things. I am drinking
Guilty. I'm not either. It's 6 o'clock at night.
So I'm drinking blackberry hibiscus tea. What do you got in your cup tonight?
I got good old H2O.
Okay. So Coffee with KPT is about using coffee to explore and connect with our community. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
So make sure to tell us about your favorite cup of joe and leave us a comment. Also, let us know how these videos impact you and other ways we can continue to connect with our community, and we hope you enjoy the show. So our first guest with us today is Dan Hollingsworth. He is the owner of a local CrossFit gym called Kitsap CrossFit. Heard you guys recently had your 10-year anniversary.
We did.
In serving our community through fitness. So this is all about kind of bringing people together over a cup of joe and hearing about your connections and your mission statement and values and all the kind of things that really embody Kitsap CrossFit in our community. But first we want to know, how do you take your coffee?
Mostly black. I would say 90% of the time, just straight black coffee. On occasion, I'll kind of go on these little runs where for a couple of weeks I'll do like heavy cream, and sometimes I'll put in some like collagen protein. I just came off of a kick of that, and now I'm back to just straight black.
Okay, very good. Were you ever on like the bulletproof coffee train?
Never like, not for long term. I've done it. I honestly, I don't like how greasy it is. So my wife purchases a stuff called Fat Fuel, which is basically bulletproof coffee but powdered form, and then you can blend it into your coffee, and then you don't get that layer of grease on top.
Okay. Okay. There you go. So when you did the vision for Kitsap CrossFit, what did that look like, and then how did it eventually become reality for you?
So sort of a long story. The idea of starting the gym started when we weren't even living here. We were still living in California. I was in the Navy, and we were members of a gym down in Oceanside, California. And we knew fairly quickly from getting involved that it was something that we wanted to pursue ourselves. And we also knew that we wanted to move back up here and open that venture here.
So one of the main things I hear a lot when it comes to CrossFit is people say that they're not in good enough shape to CrossFit, or like there's no way I could ever do something like that. So how do you kind of bridge that gap, and what are people missing out on if they have that kind of frame of mind?
Sure. So we hear it a lot too. What we want people to understand is that CrossFit is, of course I'm biased, but it is the best way to get into shape, to improve your fitness, regardless of what your fitness level is. So if you're a high-level athlete and you just want to get better at your sport, or you want to get, compete in CrossFit, it can certainly do that. But we also have folks we have people who come in that are in their 40s and 50s that literally haven't exercised since their last PE class in high school. So 20, 30 years. And we can bring them in and have them do a workout with us that we modify and scale to meet them where they're at. So the analogy I like to run with this, when people say, oh, I need to get into shape before I can start doing CrossFit, it's like saying, I need to get better at math before I hire a math tutor. No, you hire the tutor to help you improve, and that's what we do.
Okay. So what then differentiates a CrossFit coach from like a personal trainer or something like that?
Well, so from a personal trainer, in some ways we're the same, right? The kind of what people envision when they think of CrossFit typically is a group class scenario. So you've got a coach leading a group of people through a workout. And so obviously it's different in that scenario because a personal trainer is working one-on-one with an individual. But we also do offer personal training, and we start every new athlete in our facility with personal training. So they're sort of one and the same. I think the bigger distinction comes from how is a CrossFit trainer different, or how is a CrossFit class different than other group training scenarios. And so I think of things like yoga, spin class, step aerobics, those types of things. Those I call those instructor-led. So that means there's an instructor at the front of the facility, and they're leading you through the workout. And basically, as the athlete, you're watching them move, and you're trying to emulate what they're doing. And they might shout some cues from the front of the room. In our scenario, and I think the other thing that's important to understand about CrossFit is that every facility is independently owned and operated, and every facility runs differently, although most of them follow this idea, and that is that the classes are coached. So the instructor is not working out with the athletes, they're coaching. So they're roaming the floor, they're directing and guiding what's happening, they're watching individuals move, and they're helping them move better and giving them an idea of what they should do. So some people like to say it's personal training in a group scenario. I don't go that far because I think that conflates what personal training is and what group training is. But this is group coaching, group training, where the instructor's primary goal is to watch you move and help you move better. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to get a workout themselves.
Okay. Kind of on that topic, what's kind of the spectrum of training that the coaches at your facility have or have the potential to have through CrossFit?
Okay. So at our facility, no coach starts at our facility without a bare minimum of a CrossFit Level 1 certificate. Okay. Currently at our facility, every coach has, at a minimum, a Level 2 certificate. Some of them came in with the Level 1 and then have gone on to get their Level 2 certificate. In CrossFit, we have, currently we have 3. The Level 4 is coming, but we have 4 different levels of certificates or certification or training within the CrossFit umbrella.
Okay. And that goes kind of from the philosophy to the movement.
Yeah, so, a common question, or some folks will say, well, the problem with the challenge or the problem with CrossFit is that all it takes is a weekend course and you can become a CrossFit trainer. And it's true. All it takes is a weekend course, and you can, at the end of the course, you take a test, and if you pass the test, you receive your CrossFit Level 1 certificate, and then you are then blessed to go out and teach CrossFit using the methodology and to actually advertise that you're doing CrossFit. You could even go out and open your own CrossFit affiliate with a Level 1. Now, what we say at the Level 1 courses, I teach those courses as well, what we say at the courses is that this is your entry level. You should not stop here. This is where you should start, and you should continue to try to improve your skill set so that you become a better coach, right? And then the difference between our training and, people say, well, I would rather have someone have something through like ACE or ACSM or NASM or all these other different organizations. And I'm not saying that those aren't valid credentials, but all that's required to get that credential is that you pass a test. You buy a book, you read it, you go to a testing center, and you pass a test. And if you pass, then you are a certified personal trainer or whatever. So in our scenario, at the bare minimum, we have had eyes on you for an entire weekend. We've talked to you about our philosophy. We've coached you through movement, and we even start to introduce people to the concept of coaching. So we actually have them coach each other at the Level 1 seminar, and then we give them feedback on that, right? Okay. Now, does that make someone a master coach? By no stretch of the imagination, but at least we know that they move and they do things. So.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have coaches in a group class. So if someone comes in and they have any limitations, whether that be shoulder, knee, what have you, how do your coaches navigate that in a session to help the member continue to pursue their fitness safely?
Sure. So, the first thing we do is we talk to them about what their limitations are. If we need to or if we can, we'll try to coordinate with whoever they're seeing, like they're working with physical therapists, whatever. If we can get some sort of coordination with them, we'll do that to find out what their limitations are. But basically, we just talk to people and say, what's your injury? What's your status? What's your limitation? And then we just work around it. So let's say someone has a shoulder issue, and in the class we're doing barbell work. Well, that individual will probably be doing a dumbbell using the uninvolved side, right? And so our primary goal is to keep people in the gym doing as close to what everyone else is doing as possible, but without aggravating or exacerbating their symptoms.
Okay.
And our belief is that the more people keep a focus on their fitness and think about it as what can I do as opposed to what I can't do, the better their outcome is going to be, right? All too often people say, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And we're like, yeah, we get it. There's things you can't do, but look at all of these things you can do.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's awesome. So what type of programs do you offer then at Kitsap CrossFit that kind of make you stand out as a difference then?
Sure. So, like I said, we do offer our group classes. That's kind of the mainstay of CrossFit. We do also offer personal training. So we have one-on-one personal training or even small group classes. We have our group classes run the entire age spectrum. So we have a class for CrossFit kids, which starts at 5-6 years old. We have a class for teens/preteens, which starts at 11 years old. We have our adult classes, which basically starts at 18 and goes on. And then we have a program that we call Legends. And in our Legends program, that's for folks who are 60 years old or older. It's an amazing group. We have 2 88-year-old women. We have a couple of others that are in their 80s, and we have, I've completely lost count of how many people in their 70s. And they come, we have 4 classes a week for them. And right now what we do is we take the workout that everyone else is doing in the gym that day, and we scale it down, modify it so that they can do it.
It's amazing.
And you recently expanded the class schedule for the Legend in the last month or so because there was enough demand for
the class,
more classes.
Honestly, the class has kind of been busting at the seams for quite a while, and so we decided that that's a population that we really want to have as big of an effect on as we can, and so expanding that from 2 to 4 times a week was a small way that we can do that.
Cool. So we've got the different programs in the gym, and I believe Kitsap CrossFit has been voted best fitness facility the last 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the special ingredient that KCF has that offers its members beyond just getting a good workout?
Yeah. So it's the community. It is an amazing group of people that are driven toward everyone succeeding. So it's not just about, hey, I have goals and I want to meet my goals. In the CrossFit community, and I'd love to say that it's unique to us. Like it only happens here at Kitsap CrossFit, but any CrossFit gym I've ever gone to, it's all about the community. It's about bringing together people who genuinely get excited about seeing other people have great results. And that's what, you can have the best fitness program in the world, the best workouts in the world, but if it's not a fun place to go to, people aren't going to go. And so if they don't go, they can't see the results. And I've kind of shifted my own personal philosophy. When I first opened the gym, it was like, we're going to be the best place to work out. We're going to have the best workouts and the best coaching. Mm-hmm. I personally believe we have that. But now I look at our mission as we want to have the most inclusive and positive community we can, because that's what's going to bring people back. They don't come back because of the workouts. They come back because the people that are there that they want to be around. And as a byproduct, they do the workouts and they get fitter.
Relationships and friends and things you
Absolutely.
make along the way.
Absolutely.
So you guys have a fundraising event that's pretty unique coming up in
We do,
January.
yes.
Called Row for Reveille.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes. So Row for Reveille is, like I said, it's a fundraising effort for an organization called the Reveille Project. The Reveille Project is based out of Colorado, Denver, Colorado, and it's an organization that helps military veterans who are transitioning out of the military who have physical and emotional or psychological impairments that they're dealing with. And so the Reveille Project sets these folks up with scholarships to CrossFit gyms. They get them on nutrition programs, rehab and therapeutic programs. So they help them out. So we're raising funds to help them. The event is a 24-hour event. It's all rowing, and it's an individual event, not a team event, where you row as hard as you can for 10 minutes, and then you rest and recover and refuel for 50 minutes, and then you repeat that 24 times. So 24 hours of rowing, basically. It ends up being 4 hours of really hard rowing in the span of one full day. Yeah.
And this is the second time that KCF has hosted it.
Exactly.
How many athletes are going to be participating?
Well, we're still figuring that out.
Okay.
But in our gym, we have the capacity for 80 athletes. We'll have 20 people rowing at a time, and we'll just be running that every 15 minutes. We'll start a new group. We also have 5 remote locations. So we have 2 other locations here in Washington, one in Port Angeles and one in Spokane. We have one down in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and then we just picked up a gym in Fayetteville, Georgia. They actually did the event last year, and they just kind of jumped in last minute. And then we're super excited. We actually have a group in Brisbane, Australia, which I know
We're going international.
Totally going international. So we have CrossFit Brisbane in Australia is going to be doing the event as well. They are actually going to be raising funds for a local organization in Australia.
Okay.
And then they'll also be donating a portion of their proceeds to the Reveille Project.
Okay. Do you recall what the proceeds were last year?
I don't know the exact number, but I know it was north of $20,000.
Okay, so we've expanded this year, and I know I've seen different kind of GoFundMe fundraisers through Facebook. So is there also an aspect of kind of that competition of fundraising that's going on with this as well?
Yeah, and that's new to this year. So the Reveille Project has a platform on their website where people can create a fundraising account. And so we thought we would piggyback on that, and we encourage people to create their own fundraising profiles through their platform and then raise money. And Concept 2 has been generous enough to donate a piece of equipment, either a rowing machine, a ski erg, or a bike erg, to the person that collects the most funds. And currently, I just checked this morning, we're about $4,500 into that fundraising effort right now. So
that's so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So Row for Reveille has been one way that KCF kind of gives back to the community. Are there other ways that Kitsap CrossFit does that throughout the year?
Yeah, so over the 10 years that we've been in business, giving back to the community has been something that we've done a lot of. Back in the early days, we did different events and donated a portion of proceeds to Fishline and to local charities. We have a member right now who's currently battling liver cancer, and we've done fundraisers for her. Last year we did a fundraiser for her, just an in-house event at the gym. Didn't open it up to the public or anything, and was blown away that we were actually able to raise, I think, $7,000 for her, which was amazing. So yeah, and there's another local organization that I don't think exists anymore, but it's called Survive and Thrive.
Yeah.
It was a cancer survivor program, and that was something that we were fortunate enough to be involved in throughout the entire program, and we did a lot of fundraising for them as well.
So your guys' current slogan is life-changing fitness.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what sort of stories you've witnessed with that.
There's so many. There's so many. People tell us stories of how their lives have improved, not just through, of course we get the, someone who says, hey, I can go up and down the stairs now and I don't have pain, or I'm not out of breath, I don't have to stop 3 times. That's pretty amazing. I remember, speaking of Survive and Thrive, I remember a story from when we first started Survive and Thrive. A woman who was, when she started the program, I mean, she had just come off of breast cancer treatment. She was significantly overweight, significantly deconditioned, and she came in and did the program. And shortly after the program, her daughter went on a trip to Europe with a big group. And during each little stay in their trip to Europe, they would do these little excursions. They would do hikes and things like that. And some of the hikes had to be chaperoned because they were challenging hikes. And there was one hike in particular that the kids wanted to go on, and not a single one of the chaperones stood up and said, they actually all said, no, I won't do that hike. And this woman said, yeah, I'll do it, right? Significantly overweight, significantly deconditioned. She did the hike, comes back down and says, I never, ever would have volunteered for that had I not participated in a program like this. And I never would have made it had I not participated in a program like that. So that's amazing. And then we also see stuff outside of that where people are telling us that, you know, just in their day-to-day life, they feel more empowered. They stand up for themselves. They don't get pushed around, or they volunteer for things that they wouldn't have volunteered for before that aren't even physical, but because on a daily basis they come to the gym and push themselves outside of their comfort zones, they're willing to do that in other areas of their life.
So you're seeing this change not only physically, but also kind of in their character and confidence.
Yes, absolutely. They're in their psyche.
Okay. So if we flip that question then to pose it to you, so how has Kitsap CrossFit changed you from kind of where you were when it started to where you are today?
Well, obviously my career path has, I wouldn't say it's completely changed. You know, I was a physical therapist, and now, you know, I'm still in this physical realm of helping people. But obviously I have had a career switch, right? I've gone from being a clinician to now being an entrepreneur and a business owner. So that's obviously a big switch. I think in the earlier days of when we got involved in CrossFit, there was a lot of emphasis on the competitive side. We were really fired up and focused on getting people to be, you know, as fit as they could possibly be in the name of competition. We still welcomed anyone and everyone to the gym, and it was still fun to see people come in that were deconditioned and see them improve. But over the years, there's definitely been a marked shift of our focus is on helping anyone in the community who wants help. And I would even dare to say I would rather work with someone who's deconditioned than someone who is already a great athlete. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm happy to work with either, but if you've given me my choice, give me the person who's deconditioned, because I know I can impact their life more so.
Sure. So lastly, kind of to wrap this up, we want to know, this is about kind of connecting with people in the community, whether it be businesses or on an individual basis. And so what are you currently doing in your life to connect with either the people in your family, friends network, or out in the community?
So one of the things that I'm actively doing and I want to expand upon in the coming year is using the connections that I already have. Like, we have a lot of members who are business owners. We have folks who are in the medical community and that kind of thing. And I want to use those connections to get out and do more public speaking and talk to people about the importance of putting their health and wellness in the forefront, right? I kind of have this little mantra that I'm running with right now, which is foresight is 2020. And it kind of matches with the year coming up, right? Foresight is 2020, because hindsight is just like coulda, woulda, shoulda. There's nothing you can do about it except potentially learn from it. So what I want to do is I want to be kind of on that leading edge and just kind of educate people on why it's so important. Like, you know, the sad reality is that we know more about the human body than we've ever known in our history. Mm-hmm. But if you look at what's going on with health, it's getting worse. And that it shouldn't be that way. And a lot of that is just education. We need people to understand that they're actually in control, and they shouldn't just be sitting back and waiting for life to happen to them. So that's what I want to do, is get out there and kind of lead that charge and let people know about that.
All right, well, keep us up to speed when you've got your next talks in place, and we'll be eagerly waiting to hear how that turns out for you.
All right, well, I look forward to it. If anyone wants me to come and speak, I'm available.
All right, well, thank you, Dan. We appreciate your time and hearing your story.
Sure. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the coffee.
Sure.